So hello, my name is Ahmad Alfi Roziq from B class. So for the mid test from history of English literature, I want to review from the Old English era till the 18th century era. So the first is the Old English era. Timeline: the Anglo-Saxon period 449 till 1066. The first landed of the Angles and Saxons in Britain in the middle of the 5th century. They became the ancestor of the English race. The Old Anglo-Saxon language, which formed the basis of modern language, they conquered the land and gave it a name, and it was called England. They stood from the 5th century to the 11th century, and then in the 1066, Norman conquered the Britain and led by William of Normandy. The characteristic: first, the most literature in this period was done by the oral tradition. Second, they made the song about the wars, gods, religion, and this had been the beginning of a poem in English. And then the third is Christianity came and gave an impact to the literature, especially poetry. And the last fourth, most of English poetry is religious. The major works and authors, they are King Alfred, Elfric, Bede, or Bede the Venerable, and Caedmon. And the works is the first, Caedmon Hymn by Caedmon. The second is Bede, that song by Bede, Beowulf, by an anonymous. The second is the medieval era timeline. In the history of Europe, the Middle Ages or medieval period lasts approximately from the 5th to the late 15th centuries. Similarly to the post-classical of global history, it began the fall of the Western Roman Empire and transition into the Renaissance and the Age of Discovery. The Middle Ages is the middle period of the three traditional divisions of Western history. There are classical antiquity, the medieval period, and the modern period. The medieval period itself subdivided into the early, high, and late Middle Ages. The characteristic: the first, women take a place. The second, specific and tribals occur more generally. 3. Figures of speech are numerous, like simile, metaphor, etc. 4. References to the classic of Greece and Rome. 5. Descriptions are omitted or pretty. 6. Pleasant aspects of nature predominate. 7. Frequent didactic intention. 8. New forms of rhyme and rhythm. 9. Technique of the dream vision and used frequently. The 10 predominant genres, there are lyric, ballad, romance, allegory, miracle, mystery, and morality drama. And the major authors and works, the authors, there are Geoffrey Chaucer, the second Marguerite Kemp, 3. John Gower, and the works, there are the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, the second, the Book of Marguerite Kemp by Marguerite Kemp itself, and the last is the Divine Comedy by Dante. The third is the Renaissance and Reformation timeline. The Renaissance was a profound period of European cultural, artistic, political, and economic rebirth following the Middle Ages, generally described as taking place from the 14th century to the 17th century. The Renaissance promoted the rediscovery of classical philosophy, literature, and art. The characteristic, the first is both a worldly and religious age. The second, reaction against the Dark Ages. The third, revival of learning of ancient Greece and Rome. Fourth, the thirst of knowledge. Five, growing sense of nationalism. Six, popularity of poetic forms, madrigal, sonnet, and pastoral. Seven is rise of drama of an art form. And the major works, author and works. The editor there are William Shakespeare, Miguel de Cervantes, Niccolo Machiavelli, Francesco Petrarch, Dante Alighieri, and Geoffrey Chaucer. The works, Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, Hamlet by William Shakespeare, Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli, Utopia by Thomas More, and Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. Fourth is the Revolution and Restoration era. Timeline: Restoration of monarchy in English in 1660. It marked the return of the Charles II as king following the period of Oliver Cromwell's Commonwealth. The bishops were restored to the parliament, which established a strict Anglican orthodoxy. The period, which also included the reign of James II, was marked by an expansion in colonial trade, the Anglo-Dutch Wars, and a revival of drama and literature. Characteristic: the Restoration writers developed satire as a genre and style of writing. These authors loved picking on people, literary rivals, religious figures, even the entire social classes, and showing just how ridiculous they all were. Restoration writers mastered the art of poking fun at people. The third is major authors and works. The authors they are Jonathan Swift, Alexander Pope, Samuel Johnson, Thomas Gray, and Oliver Goldsmith. And the works is Love for Love by William Congreve and The Cordy Wife by William Wycliffe. Fifth and the last is the 18th century era. Timeline: the 18th century is a period of comparative peaceful development in England. After the Glorious Revolution, England entered the Golden Age. The state power passed from the king gradually to the parliament and the cabinet minister. Therefore, capitalist system was established in England. A vast expansion abroad of British colonial in Asia, Africa, and North America, and acts of enclosure at home caused the Industrial Revolution. Characteristic: the 8th century literature was characterized by the spirit of realism and romantic features like enthusiasm, passion, imagination, etc. Declining in this period, reason, intellect, correctness, satirical spirit, and etc. And the third is major editors and works. The editors they are Samuel Richardson, Henry Fielding, and Lawrence Stone. The works: Virtue Rewarded by Samuel Richardson, Clarissa by Samuel Richardson, and The History of Thomas Jones, a Foundling by Henry Fielding. So that's all for me, and thank you.